guys, Sawyer's Lawn Care Service here. Today we are doing a review of the Mega Attachments Grapple, one of their newest subcompact tractor attachments. It has two individual moving grapples here. They are powered under the same system, so they kind of like one moves up and then the other one moves up. You can't control the individual, left or right side. It kind of just moves as one system. Yeah, I'm excited to try this thing out here. They lent it to us here to run some tests on it, work on our property. You'll be seeing in some videos. There's quite a bit of work to do here. If you want to check that out, that's the Homestead Project playlist. I'll link it up here on the video. But yeah, besides that, we're just testing this out for them. We're excited to try out any new attachments for this awesome tractor. So we're gonna get into that, and then I'll let you know my reviews. They wanted a brutally honest review. We try to do everything, like basically be honest with all of our reviews, what we like about a product and what we don't like about a product. And yeah, let's get into it. One thing I will say on the initial hookup to the front here, the cylinders here are all the way back as far as I have them for tilt wise. There's quite a bit of a deficit here on the height where the hookup is. I can lean it down, but it's not going to be low enough to line up with there. So I don't know if they could do like a kickstand over here or something, just to get a little bit closer to the height it needs to be at. I'm going to mess around with it a little bit here. But the attachment's not super heavy, it's 300 pounds, but still, if you're trying to put it on by yourself, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I mean, as you can see, I am on a concrete pad here, so it is, you know, fairly level. So I'm gonna mess around with it for a second here and see what I can do here. So I couldn't quite scoot it. I think it's because I have a cinder block here, obviously, but I need the cinder block to get it that far. So now all I have to do is just scoot it forward a little bit, or back, just so the hooks can get it. I didn't notice this. I did not notice this before because we loaded it onto the back, and the back can lower down a lot further. So now this is the first test we have it on the front. So, like I said, just kind of looking at it, I would, you know, suggest putting this down in a block so you can get it on by yourself, or it's going to be kind of heavy. So let's continue hooking it up. Now these aren't color coded at all, as you get with the you know, stock attachments, but I mean, they're going in, you know, the two sets go with each other, and might backwards, so it's just not running markings, but you can mark those yourself. A little bit of weird routing, but I think we got it here. Let's start her up. Get my cinder block out. Show you what I'm looking at here. So something I noticed here is this right here. When you have your tractor all the way up, these lights don't really move, so they're not going to have much give on them. If you're carrying something heavy or just empty, if you rack that back too hard when it's all the way up, it's touching every time. I could see you cracking that light assembly because it is making contact with the corner here. So I don't know if something needs to be adjusted on that, but that's kind of it's one of those things, you know, it's trial and errors. I'm literally doing everything I can on this to find like and he basically to critique it. It was asked by Mega Attachments to give them, you know, the brutally honest review. So I'm going to find everything good, and I'm going to find everything bad about this as much as I can while I have this attachment to use. So yeah, that's a big no-no that it's touching. And it's not really just a fluke, it's actually every single time. I don't want to test it out too much with a heavy load. Well, actually, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have a load in it with the claws open. So effectively, you could just accidentally rack it back and crack your light when it's empty. So yeah, I'm gonna mess around with that a little bit more. I don't want to be too aggressive with it because I don't want to break my light, but we'll look at that. We have it on the front here. I'm gonna go give that log another try. That's how she sits on the front. It's as much as I tried to do as much as I could on the back. I know I just took it off of here, but I tried to do as much as I could to make sure that it didn't touch anything. I even have a toolbox that hangs back here next to my 3-in-1, and it didn't affect that at all, not one bit. Even with this on in the hitch, didn't touch anywhere. There's just some mild clearance issues with that light on the front, but so far that's all I can see. I am going to turn it on here. Just give me a second. I'm going to see what the ground clearance looks like on level ground. All right, so first thing here, apparently they've had some comments about the hydraulic hoses here. They used to make them, I don't have an example on me right now, I don't think, with a sleeve on them, but apparently they were riding up on these hoses. Personally, I like to see the sleeves on there. It's on most of the, the Ventrac attachments themselves. I just think, especially with dealing with sticks and everything, personally, I kind of want the the protection there of the sleeve so something can slip. For instance, like when you have it over here, especially these hoses, they're so freaking long. If they hop out and they're just going to rub on the tires, you can rub a hole right into that. And I mean, I know I've had them slip out when I've used like a power bucket before, and I just really would prefer the sleeves myself. So there's that. They do have two little slots here. You can put the hydraulic hoses in there when you're done with them. I believe they mentioned that they're going to work on getting another set here, so you can put all 4 in there. Currently, you can do 2. And we're just gonna knock out all the weird ones first here. Then we'll get into some pros here. So the cylinders, I'd prefer them being a little bit stronger. I know, like when I was doing these tests, I was picking up some kind of ridiculously sized things for this size tractor. I'm noticing just it's having a hard time just lifting up with those cylinders. Maybe it's just the subcompact tractors in general with big things, but it sticks out a lot on the on just the power of it. I mean, it lifts fine, closes fine. It just, the one downfall out of those would be the cylinders not closing. So they did mention that you can put a bar in here. They said they might sell it with it later. That would allow both these grapples to open at the same time and close. I think I might like this particular grapple since it can't, just run individually. I would probably like it just to be locked personally, but as it stands right now, as you saw, one side opens, then the other side opens, and vice versa. You close one side, close the other side. So that's a little funky. I understand because, on these machines, even when you have this kit here, you only have the option to basically, this is going to be the, forward, like, the tilt on it. And then the other one is going to be the grapple. So there's not really another hydraulic option, to plug into effectively, unless you could route it to the back of the tractor. That'd just be a whole lot of hydraulic hoses and not a whole lot of fun. And I mean, not everybody has the hydraulics on the back. The third thing is, as we talked about earlier in this video, this right here does touch the light when you have it fully up, fully tilted back. And it doesn't do it when you just lift the gravel, but when you move the bucket forward and then back, when they're all the way open, you're gonna tap that light. Now, I didn't do it too aggressively. It just gives it a little love tap there, but still, it's a little too close for comfort. And if you do it a lot, I could see one of the times you could just rack it back and it would just take out that light, or to at least crack it, which that's not good. Another one, I couldn't, when I was putting it down, I released all the pressure in the hydraulics. I had the grapple on the ground. It sat really low. I don't know if they could put like a jack just because this attachment sits so low. I kind of feel that way about the power buckets too. Not just like, their version of a bucket, but like even the Ventrac power bucket. It's light enough to move up onto the machine, but I can never get that stupid thing, on the machine without just manually assisting it and just kind of shoving it up on there. So it might just be this kind of just design of frame in general, but it'd be nice if they just had, I don't know, some kind of jack that could be, just lift it more to where it needed to be. So there's that. In regards to just the grapple itself, I mean, it's nice that you can actually just pull up to stuff and actually scoop it. Because you can pull it right in here. It's got some aggressive teeth there, and you can actually lift it up. If you're trying to use a grapple on a bucket, you can't quite do that. I don't know if as you'll see in some of the tests, on some of the items, I have to articulate down and then grab. You have to do that all the time with a grapple bucket. It has its time and place. It's just, they're different tools. They're not, one's not a replacement for the other. The grapple, this has so much more room. You can scoop under logs and pick them up easily. and it can pick up bigger items, and they're both tools for different purposes. Now, when you pick up one individual items, there is a little bit of room inside of here, so stuff does wiggle around a little bit unless you're into something really big. But I don't know if that's necessarily a problem or not. I kind of just like having the extra room in here. One other thing I would like to see on future versions of this grapple is on the bottom of the grapple teeth there, they are blunted. So when I was trying to pull logs out of areas where I could not get on the side of it to grapple it, I couldn't get traction on them and they would slip off. But if you have a slight hook on the end of those grapple teeth, you'd be able to hook into the wood, pull it out, so you can then grab it with the grapple. But yeah, I mean, it's a grapple. It can pick up some pretty awesome objects like the trees you're seeing earlier. And I think it's a great attachment for what it is. It does its job, moves branches, moves trees, moves giant logs. It'll fit in a trailer. So I'd say good job on this attachment. Has a few improvements that need to be done, and I'm looking forward to see what other attachments come down the pipeline that will complement, the machine and the lineup of attachments that are available. There's always new innovations to be made. I mean, not just, there's already a ton of tools available for these subcompact tractors, or attachments more so, but they're mega attachments. They're working on finding attachments that just aren't available right now. And it just fills that gap. And it's exciting to see another company, working on that, and just complements the machine and the company that makes these awesome machines.